I drank down a pint of cider. I drank down a lovely pint of cider. Went down, 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 and my smile grew wider.
And we're drunk.
Club members, thank you for all joining us. I know things have been tough for all of us during COVID, and we really appreciate your support. This is our 9th club shipment that we have been doing, and we really just appreciate you guys hanging in there with us, and we have a lot of fun ciders and a big variety.
We're planning on doing get our opening going softly here the next few weeks, making sure everything can be safe for our customers as well as our employees. So looking forward to seeing you all again, and in the meantime we'll walk you through the shipment that will be arriving at your door or you'll be picking up.
First up, we have our Anne Bonny, named after the infamous pirate. This cider is bourbon barrel aged for 9 months, and it's an absolute favorite amongst customers and staff.
This one tends to be a little on the higher ABV side. I think we're in the 9% range on this one. We use both Heaven Hills and Four Roses bourbon barrel. I tend to find that Heaven Hills are a little more on the ashy, large, bold side of bourbon, and Four Roses tend to be a little more on the lighter, delicate side, which I feel like Anne Bonny certainly represents in our bourbon barrel program. It's light, delicious, crisp, and certainly refreshing. I believe in the near future we're going to be also putting Anne Bonny in cans, so look forward to seeing Anne Bonny in can form in the future on your local shelves. Anne Bonny escaped being hung by saying she was pregnant, and the rest of the ship went down and was hung, and Anne Bonny lived to tell another day. However, away she goes. Next cider.
Next is the original, or OG. It's always going to be on tap, always in bottles, but it's also in can.
Let me get that for you.
Oh, thank you. It's a brilliant, just really nice, easygoing cider. I mean, it's a perfect one for a lot of people being introduced to our cider, even cider in general.
I agree. I think people who come to Bristol, sometimes they say they're not familiar with Bristol cider or they're not familiar with dry ciders. And typically on the flight we'll take you through, we always kind of start with OG. It's a blend of around 55 varieties of apples. Depends in year to year what the blend is. This past year, in the 2019 that you're trying today, has a lot of apples from Sonoma County, which are all trees that were propagated from our friend Neil Collins, the younger, as we like to call him. Of course, if you know Bristols, there's 2 Neil Collins. There's the older, maybe a little more grumpy, and then there's younger, maybe better looking, but that's debatable. A lot that comes from Sonoma is a lot of Fuji, Brayburns, Galas, but there's also a lot of really cool heirloom varieties, like Pearls, White Famoose, probably about 60 or so that come through from there. We get the majority of our fruit from there that goes into OG, and it's just a great, crisp, clean cider, refreshing. Look out for OG anywhere you love fine cider.
Oh.
That's delicious.
Next up is the lovely mystery cider. Now, our mystery ciders, as you club members know, they change every shipment, which is one of the best parts of being a member here, you know. And it's not that we're just making some cider that everyone else gets. It's cider that is specifically made for club members just like you. So it's always fun, and you guys always kind of
special.
Yeah, you guys really do some crazy stuff. So, and this time around, it's a cognac barrel aged.
Yeah, and it's rather subtle. I was actually worried it was a little too subtle, but after a slight carbonation, I feel like it does kind of bring out the cognac notes. These were 106-gallon French imported cognac puncheons. Puncheons are a larger format barrel, so there's much more volume of cider compared to the surface area of wood, so it's definitely a softer, like a less aggressive imparting of flavor to the cider. This cognac cider to me is very nice and delicate.
Carbonation is almost about as low as you can go.
Yeah, it actually may be one of the lowest carbonations we've gone to. Yeah, I think it's tasting great. Great for summertime. Of course, when you're bottling, you have to do a lot of quality control, so as we bottle, you got to make sure every few cases or so, you got to check and make sure things are just right. So
can't just have a sip either.
The apples in this particular cider came from Bear Valley Ranch, which is up in the Santa Cruz foothills. The other came from Trees of Antiquity, which is our friend Neil Collins the Younger. In Santa Cruz County, these are Golden Delicious and Newtown Pippins that we get from Mike Therio, a wonderful fella. We get pippins from many different orchards, but what comes from Bear Valley Ranch stands out. Some of the trees were planted in the early 1900s. Really cool orchard, cool old barn with these old apple ladders that don't have dwarf trees that are more common these days. They're really full, big trees up there, and beautiful property, beautiful people, beautiful fruit. The other puncheon is from Neil Collins the Younger up in Sonoma County. That's, again, probably at least 40 varieties come from that site. You're making me nervous, huh? No, you're fine. Swap in. Fourth cider.
Yeah.
We're dealing with this Blackbeard.
I don't use the word pretty too often in cider, but I like to think the Blackbeard is very pretty.
Yeah.
I really like. I've just spending a lot of time taking bottles home.
This is 100% Granny Smith apples that come from Joan at Hog Canyon. We've been getting Granny Smith from Joan many moons. She's great, grows a lot of grapes out there, but as well as somewhere in the 400 to 450 apple trees, all of which are Granny Smith. Yeah, we do all native ferments in Bristol, so we don't add any commercial yeast. It's all just what comes from the orchard. We ferment the base cider, and then we'll go ahead and dry hop, where we'll add English hops consisting of Fuggles and East Kent Golding. They're a little more playful than Neil, but they're English nonetheless, which are low on the alpha acid side, where typically your IPA hops are going to be on the higher alpha acid side. So the low alpha acid of Fuggles and Golding are more grassy and tea-like, and I think that plays well with the great acidity of Granny Smith. So it's kind of a nice blend. And Saison yeast is a beer yeast, but it gives a nice characteristic. It gives that champagne bubbles. I think this is a wonderful breakfast beverage. I would be lying if I said on a dusty Sunday morning I didn't pull out a Blackbeard. We're sailing into our fifth cider here. Blackbeard is the second of our bottle conditioned ferments.
And our second bourbon barrel aged cider.
Our second bourbon barrel aged cider. You know, I don't really mind giving this one a little stir. It's got a little bit of lees down in the bilge, you might say. A little more full body. Personal preference.
It really is just absolutely delicious. The way the bourbon plays with the apple, it's really special. I mean, this cider, not only does it sell well in bottle, the small moments we have it on tap, it just does absolutely great. I mean, we don't even serve pints of it in the cider house because of the potency.
Not allowed.
Yeah,
I believe it would.
we have to. I check everyone after.
What does it say on the list? It says nope. The secondary fermentation with this comes with Brettanomyces and a champagne yeast. So it's a special blend that we add to the bourbon barrel blend, and then cap it, and again give it a couple months to get the juices flowing. And I think it's great cider. It's probably one of our most acclaimed. Blackbeard is if you're into bourbon and you're into the champagne bubbles, I think you've met your match. Blackbeard was another infamous pirate, and I think some of the depictions here that our former cider maker Adam Welch
They're brilliant.
shows Blackbeard with fuses in his beard. And I think rumor has it he used to add fuses to his beard and light them when he would board ships, and the smoke billowing from his beard was further intimidation. Well, cheers, Cody.
Cheers,
the
Westy.
last of our ciders here is the Bristol Skimmington, Scrumpy style non-carbonated cider.
Go Bristol Rovers.
West Country. Come on in, boob. Come on in.
What people need to realize is that cider is a countryman's beverage.
Where Neil grew up, this was what you would find in the countryside, and this is typical of English scrumpies.
It's all about the higher classes. It's about the middle. It's an everyman's drink, you know.
Farmers would harvest apples and make their own ciders, and typically they all kind of have this bready aroma and flavor to them, and this one is no different. I don't lift my pinky, I just drink my cider.
Exactly right.
That's right. Get him out of here! I'm not traditional or English, but I hear it's both. If I recall correctly, is a Skimmington ceremony it's named after, where
With the donkey and
there's a donkey involved.
like husbands involved. Or
Yeah,
something.
if there's I believe if you were browbeaten by your wife and you were not taking your own, you would be. They would put somebody on the back of a donkey and put a hat on them and parade them around
town.
until they got to your house, banging pots and pans, and that would be called the Skimmington ceremony. I thought Neil was just blowing smoke because a lot of times he's full of it. But this English lady told me that he was on the up and up. You might not all know it because you haven't gone for it, but if you haven't, you got to give it a try.
You got to try
And
it.
if you're getting the shipment, you got it already. We actually received a silver medal, but they gave us gold. But being as pirates, we'll take the gold. Now, I'd like to thank the Academy for one. I'd like to thank my mom and dad for believing in me as a cider maker.
Cheers to the skimmy.
So cheers to the skimmy. All right, Cider Club members, here we are.
There you go.
We're mixing it up for you right now. This is for Cider Club members, for 2 people to come press cider with us, spend a day seeing how we do it all, and then also we're going to include lunch for you and have you come out and see how we do it with me and Cody and the boys. Definitely.
Now here's the big moment, everyone. All right, I will start with the number. The number is 6619308, and the winner is Mr. Mark Adams.
No way! Mr. Mark Adams.
Mr. Mark Adams.
Mr. Mark Adams.
Mr. Mark, I would really, everyone here at Bristols would appreciate you giving us you have 48 hours to contact us, let us know if you're able to make it. If
Otherwise
not,
we're passing it over to somebody else. So you got 24 hours, Mark. Otherwise you're out and somebody else is coming in.
Hey everyone, I'm Cody Green. I'm the Bristol Cider Manager.
I'm Weston Hartley. I'm the sole cider maker now. Previously, Mr. Eric Fleck used to be a part of our operation. He's moved on now, but he's forever in our hearts and for now in our glasses.
Drum chin, I'm liking the thought bubble coming out of your head. Very nice.